Hello, I'm Reverend Kenetha Bigham Sy, Chief Connectional Ministries Officer of the Connectional Table. Wesley's historic questions were about what to teach, how to teach, and what to do. For this interval of features, the Emerging Forum will seek to update these questions for our current moment. We will invite energetic conversation that will illumine our identity, which is tied to what and how we teach, our preferred actions, what we do, and our abiding hopes as we envision the future United Methodist Church. This morning, I am joined by Molly McIntyre, who is from the Florida Annual Conference. Good morning, Molly.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Molly, could you tell us a little bit about yourself to begin with?
Yes. So I have been born and raised in Florida. I was part of a very United Methodist family. My father's a United Methodist pastor. So I have grown up in the United Methodist Church. I currently work for the Florida United Methodist Conference in the Missional Engagement Department. I do all sorts of things. It's shifted a lot during this last year. But my main thing is to do trainings and deal with all of our incredible volunteers in the state of Florida.
Well, wonderful, and welcome this morning. Molly, I know that you're also a delegate to General Conference and you're quite active in that role, and that you've been a part of a number of groups, one of which put out a statement called Out of Chaos Creation. And I understand you were actually on the writing team for that document. But in that document, it says this, and I'm going to quote. It says, "Is this a Kairos moment? Is this the moment when we must truly confront and dismantle what has harmed God's people, God's creation?" Do you believe that this time in the life of the church, Molly, is a Kairos moment? And if so, why?
I do. So when the pandemic first started, my first thought was, we're not going to have General Conference. And I was ready for a change. But then as I started to think about this Kairos moment that we're having, I thought, why are we allowing an event, General Conference, to kind of dictate everything that we're doing? I really honestly believe this is a time for us to really open our eyes. In the document, we talk about lamenting what harm we've done, not only in the United States to African Americans, but the list goes on, what we've done to people around the world. So I really think that this is a time for us to reflect and lament first. I think we often don't reflect about our past or what's happened. And then I do think it's a time for us to really gain wisdom, to listen to people that we often never listen to. You know, we talked in the Out of Chaos statement about everyone is welcome to the table. When I think about the United Methodist Church, one reason I am United Methodist is because I truly believe that it's such a beautiful thing when we think about how diverse, how the United Methodist Church, everyone has so many different gifts and talents. And this Kairos moment really made me think, like, what do I want? What do I want in the United Methodist Church? And I just think it's time for awareness. It's time to call out certain egocentric leaders and start to change the narrative of what we're about.
And certainly a call to lament is apropos, given that we are recording this in the midst of Holy Week and at the same time that the trial is happening around the killing of George Floyd. And that is happening in Minneapolis right now.
Yeah.
Molly, when you think about the church and who we are as a church, what do you see that we need to learn from this moment? And what do we need to do differently in order to sustain and bring forth relevant, effective ministry?
So I read an article the other day that only 47% of U.S. Adults are in a church, a synagogue, or a mosque. And we know that those trends are the same in Europe. We know that the church is growing in Africa or in Asia. But that's a big concern. And I think, why are those numbers dropping? Are we relevant to what's going on for people in the world or in our communities. So I first think the first thing is we focus, especially in our world, when people come to me at an annual conference, at the Florida conference, they often ask me, Molly, what's going to happen with the United Methodist Church? Like, what's next? What's next? And I want to be so bad to say, let's stop the drama, let's stop the politics, and say, how can we continue to serve our communities? How can we continue to reach people? I think if we let go of so much of the politics and the drama and we start focusing on serving our communities, that right there is one way to become relevant. I also think we are very good at not going to the people. We expect people to come to us and our local churches. We're really good at throwing big events, an Easter egg hunt or things like that, but we often don't think about a lot of people have been harmed by a church, or they haven't grown up in a church. I just think to be relevant, we have to be part of a movement and not a moment. The United Methodist Church has always been really part of movements. So let's continue the movements and not just, be in a moment that we just brush on by. But I think we can continue to be relevant, but we have to change our narrative on how we respond or how we reach people in our communities.